Good Tuesday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk, an insider's guide to real estate life and the pursuit of happiness, presented by the Yes Team Realtors. We're live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world, on the I Love CVille Network. Keith and Yonna Smith of the Yes Team Realtors, trusted advisors in the game. We have Keith Smith on location. I believe my friend is in Connecticut. Keith, good Tuesday morning to you. How are you?
Good Tuesday morning to you, my friend. Yes, we are up visiting our grandson and family up here in Connecticut. And today's topic, as we talked about via text in our pre-production meeting via text, is going to be, hey, what are we thankful for in 2020 and amidst this pandemic? But before we get into that, I really wanted to pick up a little bit where we left off on Friday. With the good Dr. Lisa Sturtevant. I don't know about you, and some of the listeners, but this fact that the real estate in the state below the government is really just running through my head this whole weekend and this drive up here up north, and I just really rocked my world. I don't know how you felt about it. We really haven't had a chance to talk too much since the show on Friday, but did you expect to see that number?
No, I did not. Lisa Sturtevant was our guest on Friday's edition of Real Talk. She's the chief economist of Virginia Realtors. We spent 20 minutes or so with her on the show, and she explained to us behind the government, the real estate business is the second largest industry in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And real estate and what Keith and Yonna do and their colleagues do, it has really helped backstop the economy in this pandemic. I mean, real estate has stayed strong. In fact, fire has been lit under real estate, and it's really positive. Sales are stronger than ever. I mean, it's been an explosive year for your business, Keith Smith.
It's been super explosive for a year. We're going to have some great news to announce in the beginning of December about that. But you're 100% right. It's I was just where it's a working vacation. I was on the phone with Zoom calls all morning long with clients. The big struggle is finding inventory, and I know this is a broken record that we've been going over and over and over for months and months and months now. But the lack of inventory. I tend to agree with the good doctor. I think you're going to see 2021 is going to be a good year, but I think if we don't figure out a way to open up this logjam of inventory, it's going to be a challenge.
How do you do that?
Well, we talked about that on Friday, and we'll get to the thankful stuff in a little while because this is a real estate show and we should talk about real estate, right? Look, the reality of it is like the good doctor said, is we got to create some inventory, and we talked about this on Friday. And how do we do that? Well, there's two paths to that, right? As far as I see it, path number one is the new construction path, and that Greg Slater always preaches this all the time. It's just rocking and rolling on that end of it. But we need to turn this red tape into green tape and get projects moving along. The other thing is as we all know, I sit on the land trust. I chair the land trust, and we're working on a project where we can increase the density in a single-family detached lot in the city. So that automatically, it's for affordable, but that automatically takes that one single-family detached lot and gives us five homes. And we're not going vertical. We're not doing all this high-scaled stuff. It's more compact and neighborhood shaped on it. So, that's how we do this. But I think confidence is also a big thing too. And if there's some real estate agents watching here, I'd love to have them chime in, and we can try to do a two-way conversation on that. But the reality of it is as the good doctor said. So I'm going to convince Mr. and Mrs. Miller picks up the phone, calls Keith and Yonna, and says, we want to sell our house. Where are they going to go? Right? And that's the log jam. Where is Mr. and Mrs. Miller going to go? So if Mr. and Mr. Miller is moving up, right, that's okay. So we're going from one price point to the next. That's fine. Or Mr. and Mrs. Miller are going to Florida because they're getting to the same age as Keith and Yonna Smith, and cold isn't so good, warm is better. I found that out today when I got up and took a walk out the front door. I went, oh, I'm not in Virginia any longer. So I mean, it's all these complicated issues. But again, what I'm thankful for, if we go back to that, I'm thankful for what we're doing. Right, 2 years ago, we decided to do this, and I think that what I'm thankful for is this conversation we're having, in front of all these people and all these wonderful sponsors and that are helping us do that. And I will tell you, this is super awkward. I do miss sitting across the table from you.
Yeah, me
I'm much,
too.
I'm much.
You
I
travel.
know.
You travel more than anyone I know.
Okay,
You travel a lot.
I am Catholic, so a little guilt just came over me on that.
You're looking sharp.
Well,
So what do you see the next?
well, it's family, My daughter needed a little help, so we needed to take care of family.
You guys are in Connecticut.
Sure.
I really like the kitchen behind you. Barbara Lundgren's got a comment. We'll get to your
How about the
commentary.
knives?
Oh, I saw them. I wouldn't want to mess with Harry or your daughter in that kitchen with those knives there.
It would be my daughter.
Okay, I wouldn't mess with her. So
matter of fact, the funny thing is I set up for the shot, right? Look who me, and she's in the business, right? So I said, hey, set me up for my shot, right? And I go, can we take the knife down? She goes, no. I went, got it. Knife's not coming down.
how do you see the rest of the year playing out, Keith? I mean, with the holidays, with Thanksgiving, with cases spiking, how do you see it playing out from a real estate standpoint?
Again, it's the inventory question is always these five things: location, price, features, and condition, right? And then the last one is the timing of it. So, it could be in the right location but overpriced and it won't move, or it can be in the right location, the right price, but has some features and conditions that impact it. We were talking about this on the way up. There's 19 houses my wife and I, there's 19 houses at Lake Monticello, right? They're at that sweet spot of price point. But if you really dig into those 19 houses, there's really only about half of them that really meet all those five things. And some of them, they may be at the right location, a little overpriced, but you have to bring somebody like Intrastate Pest and Services Company in to do it, which are great folks. But now are you renovating the house above market value? And that becomes a challenge in that. But normally this time of the year it slows down a little. Everybody takes a bit of a breather. That is not happening this time of the year. All my colleagues are busy as all can be. So I just think it's trucking along. I think this presidential election had just like COVID, hasn't slowed anything down. And I think, as the good doc says, 2021 is going to be a pretty good year.
She said 2021. I'm going to throw this to you. And I was a little slightly surprised. She's a lot smarter than I am. She thought 2021 could be a bit of a retraction.
Well, that's right. And if you remember what she talked about, it's a good year compared to what, right? So this has been a stellar year, right? So we retract a little bit from that, then we're maybe back to normal. But I think what she kept on saying, and I think this is what we need to be talking about as a community. Where are they going to go? I mean, I think the inventory is just going to impact it. If we can, Mr. and Mrs. Smith sell their house, where are they going to go, right? And if we're moving or moving out, I think that's going to cause a bit of a retraction. And I can tell you, I did, because we're geeks. We're housing geeks. I did some research while I was sitting around here on the local market up here where we're at in Connecticut, and they have the same problem. So this whole conversation about, and she's spot on, this whole conversation about the urban flight, and it's not happening. It's just swapping in and out, right? People are moving from up or down or down into a different location. I don't really see this flight. I was actually talking to the real estate agent that we used to help my daughter buy this house, and same exact issues we have down in Charlottesville area. It's not any different.
Do you see ever an opportunity to change the zoning code around here? I mean, if we can get away from potentially these R1s, we could potentially get more housing density. Is that a choice, or that's never going to be a reality? I mean, we know we have a Dillon rule state, so we know the locality doesn't have much autonomy with what it wants to do with its code.
So those who are on the feed that are not planning geeks like Jerry and I or Neil, if they don't know what a Dillon rule is, a Dillon rule basically states that the localities cannot make anything different.
Yeah, we got no power.
So a great example of the Dillon rule is what James King did. James King's father did, actually. They wanted to change the vineyard scenario so they could do certain things in the business, to serve and so forth and so on. And they actually had to go to the state to change it. So that's how that has to go. So I'm an optimistic guy. I wouldn't be putting in the many hours that I put in if I didn't think we could do it. When is it going to happen is a different story. But it's going to have to happen. So either I just read a really great article in Portland, and what happened, everybody, they did exactly what we're talking about in Portland, and everybody thought it wasn't going to work, and it did work. And here was their argument, and this, we talk about this on the show all the time. This was all wrapped around parking, right? And at the end of the day, what's happening here is you're required in the city of Charlottesville to have 2 spaces per single-family detached home. And what happens is you ultimately are building parking spaces instead of homes, right? And there has to be some happy medium in it. What we're proposing over on 10th and West is 1, right? So at least, every household probably has a car. They don't necessarily need 2, particularly living in the city on that end of it. But, when we're spending $50,000 per parking space on apartments and mid-rise, it's just something's not right there. So hopefully, what I'm hoping happens, and to geek out on you a little bit
Please
here,
do.
is that we're able to get what's called ZTA, zoning text amendments, where we're not saying, hey guys, we don't want you to throw out this zoning outright. Let's see if we can change some of the texts so we can do what we want to do, so we can get this inventory moving. And then you got the whole timeline of red tape, and we talked about this before. Like Fluvanna County, you can get through something and you're going to know in 6 weeks from submittal if you can go forward or not. Some of the other jurisdictions, not so much. So, they need to whittle that down.
That's the first time I've heard about a zoning text amendment. And I want to geek out on that here. Is that specific to certain individual homes, neighborhoods, an area? How does that work?
No. So that's great. So what happens with a zoning text amendment? So you have, let's say the R1S in Charlottesville. So the R1 residential infill S, which is special. But anyway, let's say there's single-family detached zoning in it. At the moment, it says you have to have 2 parking spaces in that. But if we put a zoning text amendment, so in other words, what we're doing is we're amending the text of that zoning to say, under certain terms and conditions, that could be 1, right, instead of 2. That becomes now a global change. So any R1S or any parcel that has that zoning that would be applicable to it. So it is a big thing, right? Because it's a global change. It's not specific to a piece of property. What you're probably thinking is what's called an SUP, so special use permit, where it's specific to a property. And again, I'm trying not to geek out here on you, man, but the zoning text amendment would have to say you're allowed to do an SUP for this parking. So a path would be, okay, guys, in the zoning text amendment, let's focus on the parking for the moment. In the zoning text amendment, we would say you're allowed to go to 1 car per residential unit or no cars per residential unit if you meet these certain terms and conditions, and it has to be a special use permit. The problem with that is it just added a ton of time. because the SUP permit, the special use permit process, is exactly the same as a rezoning, which would take months and months to go through. So what Portland has done is they've taken that SUP component out, and they said, if you meet these certain criteria, they've amended their zoning. If you meet all this criteria, you can either have 0 or 1, and that's how that's set up. So it becomes a ministerial decision, not a political decision. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
And what they found out that has done is that has really curbed this gentrification out there. Seattle has the same thing. A lot of California cities inhabit, but they're home rule states, right? So some of what I'm talking about may have to go all the, and if Neil's watching, he'll know better than I, some of this may have to go back to the state. Zoning text amendments and SUPs typically, I do not apply for the Dillon rule, right? So you again, it depends on what it is, but did I geek out too much on you?
No. You did not geek out. And this has got the, Stephanie Rhodes, I will get to your comment. She's got a thankful comment. Barbara Lugred's got a thankful comment. Laura's got a thankful comment. We're live across many social platforms. This is a good question that's come in here. Jerry, who sent this? Let me see. Let me read his name. Hold on one second. Steve Coppinger. Jerry, I watch you routinely on your network. I love the content you guys create here and keep us informed from a local standpoint. Last week, you talked about UVA and its admissions upticking for the class of 2024. Can you ask Keith what he thinks this is going to cause from an impact in Charlottesville? So here's basically the question he has, and he continues. I'm going to abbreviate your comment, and then I'm gonna put it in a nutshell for Keith. He's saying
chemistry's working.
Yeah,
you know
okay.
Exactly
So
what you're going to ask me.
He's saying admissions are upticking in 2024, which UVA has announced that, and we have a vaccine around the horizon. This is going to further the housing crunch in Charlottesville. It's a good point. If we have a couple extra thousand kids at UVA in the next few years, they got to live somewhere.
Well, yeah, it's just going to make a bad circumstance worse, right? And just to give you an example, right? Our pre-pandemic, I can't tell you what it is now. Our daughter is a Division I athlete, master's degree from JMU, right? We were paying about $400 or $500 a bed for her to live there. Do you know what the going rate is around UVA right now per bed?
How much?
$1,000.
Are you talking dorms or off grounds? Dorms?
No, off campus.
Okay.
Well, at the moment, there is some discussion about putting second years. I think you've talked about this on your show. Second years. I've been in UVA too long. I don't call them juniors. I call them second years. Of bringing second years on campus.
Yeah, on grounds. Yeah, right.
On grounds, and that may absorb some of the impact of another couple thousand. But I have to be honest with you. We're at 26,000 kids, I think, or something like that.
Roughly. I'll see if I can find that.
Well, the second in charge told me, so it's 26,000.
Okay.
But how, this town can't handle this town can't be an Ohio State, right, with 50,000 kids. It just can't handle it. So, 100% right. It is going to put impact on it, in a very sick way or a very unhealthy way. COVID has given us a bit done us a bit of a favor here.
How
right?
so?
Well, this gives us the opportunity to have these discussions, right? I think once a vaccine comes in, and this may not be a popular train of thought, once a vaccine comes in and we're comfortable with it, my fear is we're going to forget this so fast, right? That then all these extra kids are coming in, prices going up. Look, I make a living off of this, right? This is what you and I do. This is what Yonna and I do. And this is all good stuff. And people's values should increase. That's a healthy thing. But when you can't have the policemen, the firemen, the teachers live close to where they work and they have to travel out, I mean, I've got an uncle, right? He runs all the outpatient surgery facilities at you've got the Katie Couric Center over there. We're out looking on, and where your friends look, we're looking at the other side of the mountain because we can't buy what he wants to buy within walking distance or biking distance of the hospital. So we're looking 45 minutes away. You know, somehow or another, this process has to be loosened up to bring more density. And as my good friend Anthony Harrow, who runs the the Coalition of Homeless here, says, look, homeless is easy to fix. You just got to put them in houses, right? Affordability, right? All we got to do is create more inventory. That's easier said than done. Did I?
Oh, that was good. That was good. Let's stay on this topic. It's got people engaged. Heather Walker, welcome to the broadcast. John Saylor, hello. Charlie Mayer, Jeffrey Willard, hello.
I want to take a quick minute and again wish Miss Wills a happy birthday. I hope she did something exciting.
Stephanie Wells Rhodes. Yeah, she always parties on her birthday. She has family around her all the time. In fact, I'll read
pictures.
I'll read Stephanie's comment now. Stephanie says this: I will forever be, Stephanie Wells Rhodes, Intrastate Pest and Service Companies, I will forever be grateful for 2020 because I received one of my greatest blessings, my granddaughter, sweet Channing Grace, and all the extra time I get to spend with her. So one of the positives from COVID is folks get to work from home, and Stephanie works extremely hard. Stephanie's working from home, and a couple days each week, she's watching her granddaughter, Channing Grace, as her daughter is a teacher. So she gets to spend some time with her granddaughter. That's what Keith is doing right now. He's with his grandson, right?
That's exactly right. Yonna, Yasmin is working. Harry is in the other Zoom room working, and Miss Yonna Smith has got little Harry out at the outdoor park around the corner, so Grandpa could talk to you guys. Otherwise, this kid will be bouncing all over the place.
Right. Stephanie, Keith is doing the same thing. Keith and Yonna went up to Connecticut to help his daughter, their daughter, and their great kid. So this is a topic that continues here, Keith.
So we're thankful we can do that. I'm very jealous of Stephanie and what she can do because we have to drive 8 hours up bleeping 95.
Well, can you imagine this? Imagine, and this happened with the Spanish flu. But folks, imagine if COVID hit and we did not have the luxury of Zoom, internet, and the ability, and phones, and the ability to work from home. So if there's something positive and thankful for 2020 is, we are able, because of the internet and technology, to continue working. Imagine if we did not have the internet and technology and Zoom and streaming. How would the economy continue forward with people unable to go to work or fearful to go to work? I mean, that's very legitimate right there, Keith Smith.
I get it. You know, we're blessed. We FaceTime all our children. One's in Seattle, one's here where we are in Connecticut. We do it every day, literally every day, to stay connected. But yeah, 100% right. I mean, I read an article this morning, and I'll kind of get into it a little bit. But I read an article this morning, and this article asked this author or this reporter asked a bunch of first graders, "What are you thankful for?" And the funny thing, the top one. You know, would you want to guess what the top one that these little 6-year-old, I think they're 6, whatever first graders are, 6-year-old kids, you know what the top saying was?
What?
The top thing they're thankful for? When our family gets to eat together.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome? Right? Little 6-year-old kids, or however they old are, they've recognized from this that, hey, in the past, and you know, I'm guilty of it, as much as we'd be running 50,000 miles an hour and we didn't take time to sit down and eat as a family as often as we would during the week. So that's the number one. When my family gets together to eat, of these, they asked all this. It was somewhere in Minneapolis, St. Paul or something like this, where I read the article this morning. I thought, well, how awesome is that? And you know what number 2 is, right?
What's that? They get toys for Christmas?
Toilet paper.
Paper. Yeah. I mean, they got a ban on Wegmans now. You can only buy one.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Wegmans is saying it's now only one you can purchase. All right, so this is coming in here, and I'm going to paraphrase, Keith. If we have a couple thousand more students coming to Charlottesville, and statistically we know this is happening, UVA has released the information. Enrollment is upticking. If we have a couple thousand more kids coming in the next couple years to the University of Virginia, we have major employers like Dexcom coming to Chris Henry, Dairy Market, and Dairy Central. Sponsored this program off Preston Avenue here.
Absolutely.
It seems to me, Keith Smith, that what you've been saying for the last 2 years, that we have a serious pinch, that affordability is a major issue, is going to get worse and worse. Do we think that the folks you're talking to are seeing and hearing what's happening and coming down the pipeline?
Yes. I guess you're referring to like on the political side of things.
Yeah, leadership.
The leadership decision makers. Yeah, the answer is yes. I'm super excited. I'm able to sit down off Zoom with the mayor, so we're going to do that on I can't remember the date. Susan Steinmark sent me the invite, but we're able to do that. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I'll find my conversations with elected officials on a one-to-one basis globally. Big picture, they get it. The thing is, they tend to get caught up in the details a little too much because, look, at the end of the day, this is what I do for a living. You do what you do well for a living. I understand the minutia of this problem. They don't, and they're super reliant upon staff, which is great. But sometimes in some jurisdictions, it gets a little bit laborious to get to a decision. So we call that silo, right? In the business center. So we're doing, everybody say hi to Harry. Hi,
Hey, what's up, Harry?
They're saying hi to you, Harry.
Nice to see you, Harry. Dude, that beard looks good, man. He uses product in that beard. He's looking good.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a little scary.
He looks good. Please tell him I said he looks good because he can't hear I said that. Tell him I gave him props on that
He
beard.
says you look. Hold on.
Well, we don't have.
Harry, come say hi. Can you hear? Can you hear me?
You look at sharp, Harry. Very sharp.
Yeah?
Yeah. Nice to see you.
You too, man.
Go back to work. We got adults of working here. Oh, I'm going to pay for that later, I guarantee you.
All right, so finish your train of thought there.
Oh, I had a train of thought?
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. The beard just threw me totally off.
You were talking about it. You were talking about leadership. Everyone you've talked to.
Yeah. So what they, just what happens is they rely on staff, which is great. But then you get guys like me, right? Guys like you. Hey, let's do this. And this is not what these folks do for a living, right? They're not professional what I do or what you do. So they get a little reliant on it. But once it's the wheels of government, as you well know, move super slow. And a prime example is our industry, right? The real estate industry. We're thankful because of a lot of hard work from RPAC, which is our lobbying group that the governor said, hey, we're essential services. Because you know what? Keith Smith didn't get it, but the governor got it. When you're number 2 in the state, guess what? You're essential.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It blew my mind when Lisa said that. I never really thought about it at that level, and he got it and made the right call. But at the end of the day, you've got folks like us saying, hey, we'd like you to do this, and it's just a lot for them. And this is why I'm so high on this on this regional housing partnership with these 4 pillars. We got to it's an education thing. Am I making any sense at all to you?
Yeah, you're making sense. Neil Williamson says, I'm thankful for a community that can disagree without being disagreeable.
Wow.
That's well said, Neil Williamson.
Yeah, and there's some exceptions to that, but by and far, they'll listen to you. And I think that's what, he just put a point on the point I was trying to make so poorly, was that we've got to have communication. People need to talk to one another, need to understand this. But at the end of the day, this process of years to get something approved, it's just not good for anybody. Not anybody at all. So that needs to get changed.
Chris Jensen, welcome to the program. Love Chris Jensen. Ray Cadell, welcome to the program. Your buddies at Ness Realty, hello. Marcus Wiley, hello. John Hunt, watching the show. Elenia Licata, welcome to the show. All right, well, we've had a year that we will certainly not forget that we've experienced. We're going into a 2021 that we all are very bullish on, with the vaccine on the horizon, with some pent-up demand on the horizon. I think we need to get to the vaccine. How about January and February? You think that's going to be a feeling out, couple 60-day period right there for the market?
Not really. I really don't think so. I just don't really think so. I just think, much like the conversation we're having around our bet, it's going to be, I think the comfort level of people wanting to put their houses on the market. Let's talk about that for a second. We clearly, as an industry, nailed it. I mean, clearly we nailed it. We put in the protocols, and this is what I was trying to talk about earlier, right? Private sector, we adapted, and I didn't finish that train of thought. It just came back to me. Private sector, we moved pretty darn fast. It takes a while for the government to do that. And what's happening right now at the government level, they're panicking on their budgets, because they're looking at their budgets now and they just can't seem to get beyond that. Where somebody like you and I, we're beyond this already. We're already in 2022, 2023, 2024, in our thinking. And that's the problem. They struggle to try to get past the here and now and look forward. That's not derogatory towards them at all. It's just the way the system is built. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. But, at the end of the day, I think the confidence is there. I think the real issue is to tackle what, and I don't know how we do this, but tackle what Lisa said. Where is Keith and Yonna Smith going to go? We want to sell our house. Don't tell Yonna I said that, by the way. but we want to sell our house, right? But where the hell am I going to go? And I'm in the business. Where am I going to go? Right? Other than Florida, and that's not happening.
I hope
right?
not.
It's not happening. Trust me, it's not. Where are we going to go? What pivot are we going to make that we can find something? So inventory will start doing that. I think you're going to start. Everybody predicts 2021, and maybe I'm going to get myself into a little bit of trouble here. 2021, everybody's saying interest rates is going to stay at 3. I think you're going to see it start climbing around mid of the year. And I think the climbing a little bit will turn loose some inventory. That's just my opinion, for what it's worth, on that end of it. But I think you're going to go ahead and see that. So, first grade. I read this. This was funny. Pants, because if you didn't have any, this is what this kid's thankful for. Pants, because if you didn't have any, that would just be weird. I don't know why, but I got drawn to that one. I said, I like this kid. I want to meet this kid. Pants, man. If you just walked around, I just would be weird.
How was the weekend at the lake? On Friday's show, we were talking about Chris's house on Smokewood, which would be a hot commodity. Christopher Eagles. How's Lake Monticello looking?
It like we talked about it. There's only 20 houses on the market. Half of them are good. He happens to be one of them. I haven't spoken to him since Friday after the show. I don't know what his sales are. To be frank with you, I haven't had an opportunity to dig into the numbers that much. But again, it's just lack of inventory. It's the sweet spot, But if you don't hit these 4 things, right? If you're, it'll sit there for a little while. Now, what's a little while, right? Let's define a little while. Normal is like 90 days. A little while is 30 days. That's ridiculously anemic. Days on market, and we'll find out when we do our little bet. I think you're going to see at the end of the year the average is somewhere around 17 to 18 days on market, which is ridiculously low. And that's a median. That's throwing out the high and throwing out the low.
You guys set up an interview for us with the through the Thomas Jefferson Land Trust, and we interviewed, I think it was Candace, Vanderlyn is
Oh,
her
yeah.
name, and she talked about on the
Fellow
show.
real estate. She's fellow realtor.
Right. And she talked about how she saw Forest Lakes in Hollymead potentially gaining and booming and kind of getting reconfigured, and she sees that as potentially a new Crozet waiting to happen. What do you make of
You
that
know what?
Forest Lake
You know what?
Hollymead
You know
take?
what? You know what that is?
Well, tell me.
What big project is getting built right up the street from it?
Well, I mean, Corin Capshaw's got his North Point project.
Correct. So I believe it's called Brook. Stanley Martin's doing a project out there called Brook Hill or Brook Mill. I can't remember the last name of it. So what that's going to do is that what you're going to see, I think, is some people coming out of the Forest and Lakes area. They've been there for 10 or 20 years or X a number of years. And Candace is spot on. If that's an area that, frankly, we're going to target, because what they're going to do is they're going to move into new construction. So that's part of this whole conversation of where's my where, right? Where are these going to go? So if I've been in a house in Forest Lakes for X number of years, our daughter's pregnant with our second grandchild.
Nice.
And yeah. And
great.
we've already started having this discussion. We helped them buy this house, and now, with 2 kids and everybody's working from home other than Yasmina. She has to go into the city for makeup. I mean, she can't do this remote, what she does remotely. On that end of the stuff, the 4 walls are getting a little bit tight here. And so we're going to start, actually, we're doing real estate while up here, go figure. We're going to start looking at some other opportunities for just some planning purposes on what's available. So what you'll see, I think, is, and I'm sure some real estate agents will either agree or disagree with me on the feed, that they're going to start what we would call lateral moving, right? They're going to lateral move out of Forest Lakes, maybe got 50 grand, 100 grand of equity in their pocket from so many years. They're going to walk in over to Stanley Martin and buy something brand new, right, in a new development with the new amenities and all that stuff. And then once that slides over, then this pent-up demand down here is going to slide into that. So that's why new construction is so important. That's why that moves this needle so far, because there'll be either lateral or what they call a horizontal move, right? So we're moving from this to this. I've taken my net equity, my equity out of that to purchase this, and then Keith and Yonna Smith have been waiting for that to come available. We slide into that, and it just kind of goes that way. But without that new construction component, it just becomes this. Where does that person go? Does that make any sense?
That makes great. What are you hearing from a new construction
Was that along
standpoint?
line my carrier thing? No.
What are you hearing on the new construction side of things?
Yeah, so as you know, I'm involved in a project out in Fluvanna County, so there'll be 325 units going out that way. I keep my ear to the ground. You're referring to new projects coming out of the ground, yeah. So there's some projects up that they're starting to look at today, meaning the larger builders. They're going out, right? So there's some up on the other side of the mountain. Actually, I didn't tell you about this, but we're gonna bring in the head guy from Atlantic Builders. They're building quite a few new projects on the other side of the mountain. We're gonna also happens to be a fellow Marine. We're gonna bring him in and talk about that in December. So what's going on there in the new construction component? He'll be able to do that much better than I. I've got some of these developer guys, asking me, where can I find land out in these parameter counties? For instance, Fluvanna County, right? We talk about Zion Crossroads all the time. I'm in discussions with some big builders / developers because Fluvanna County is bringing the water in there. That's where it's going to go, right? Close to 64, got water and sewer, close to shopping, close to come on.
El Mariachi.
Mariachi. I got to tell you, man, they're dear friends and clients of ours.
They're watching.
Oh, I got to say this. This is straight up. We came in last night, late last night. Our daughter ordered some tacos from the local place. Not even freaking close. Not even in the same universe as what you can get at El Mariachi. So I said, my standard's a little higher than this, Yasmina. I'm just telling you.
What did she say to you when you said that? Did she give it right back to you?
Oh, she used a 4-letter word
Oh, she did.
and had off at the back end of it. So she's become a true New Yorker. So
this is from Andy Gaffney. Andy Gaffney says this. So does Keefe think that the folks that are going to be serving and keeping Charlottesville in the right direction, the police, the fire, the rescue, the teachers, does he think that they're going to all start moving to the Shenandoah Valley because that's where affordable housing is, and the folks that serve Charlottesville will not live in Charlottesville? I mean, that's been happening for a while. That's already happening.
So here's the deal. Exactly right. It is happening. That's where they're going. Now, the PD and the FD is a little bit different, particularly the police department. The police department has a down payment assistance program, which is pretty awesome. We've helped some folks buy it, cops buy it, Lake Monticello. I believe the fire department has the same thing, that they will contribute substantial amount of money for their down payment assistance, which is helpful on that end of it, because they need to be a certain distance, right, from their stations, right, from the fire department or the police station. So there is some programs in to do that. But at the end of the day, I mean, by the way, it's the same struggle I have with my uncle, right? He can't be any further than 30 minutes away from the city, from the hospital. And that 30-minute driving radius is not that big, frankly. It's maybe 15 miles at the most, as the crow flies. And, where we live to the studio takes me 20 minutes, and I'm 12 miles away as the crow flies. So, that radius is tight on that end of it. But he's spot on. That's what's happening. I hate this saying, you can finish my
Drive
sentence.
till you qualify.
I hate it, but it's true.
Yeah.
That's why we want to have this conversation with Atlantic Builders on the other side. So what are you seeing?
Was
What's going
Atlantic
on
Builders the new big builder that's coming to the area that you've been alluding to? That's not the one? Are you going to tell me the new big builder that's coming to the area?
Nope.
No? Come on.
No, I was asked not to. I need to respect that. So, but when it happens, everybody will go, oh, that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I can't, unfortunately. I'm sworn to secrecy.
How's the custom home market?
Wow, our chemistry is working, because it's literally where I was just going to go. I didn't know it could work when we're not sitting across from one another. So that's what I was on the phone with this morning. I have clients that we're putting in offers on some large acreage, 5 acres, 10 acres, that kind of thing, and we're trying to interview some builders, and we know who they are because we talk about them all the time on the show. But there's others, of course. Some of these guys are booked out until 2022 at this point.
Wow.
And I'm having conversations with my clients. You want to get in. I'll use one of my British friends' famous terms. You want to get into the queue now.
Can I ask you a question? And you're a developer. You're a developer. You're a builder by trade. He built. How many of the homes at Lake Monticello did you build?
Oh God, we built 20 to 40 a year for 25 years, whatever that math comes out to.
Okay, so he built a lot of the homes at Lake Monticello. So, okay, if you're a you've done this, a custom home builder, you're talking about getting in the queue. They're booked out through 2021. Talk about this challenge. If you have people looking to spend money with you, why don't you figure out a way to get them to build a home in 2021 for them? I mean, it's not that easy, I know, and we have the challenges of labor. We can't find any subs to build these homes. That's the number one challenge for new construction is labor. We get it. But why can't the custom builders just take on more projects, Keith?
Oh, come on now. You know the answer to that.
Well, it's the sake of a talk show.
I know that. I'm teasing you. You're a branding guy, right? You're a marketing guy. What's the worst thing? You're running our brand, right?
He's basically saying you should not overpromise and underdeliver. That's what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying. The worst thing that builder could do is say, yes, Mr. and Mrs. Miller, I'm going to finish your house by December and not perform. And the problem is, in the building world,
That happens all the
production
time.
guys, yes and no. I think the reputable guys, it does not actually. The big production guys, they have the wherewithal, they have the systems in place to go ahead and do that. I can tell you, this phenomenon that we're dealing with right now, this lack of lumber, lack of thing. This is nothing new. It's always been around. I've always dealt with this. And so what did I used to do? Jerry's my electrician, right?
Uh-huh.
Right. He's Jerry's electrical company. I used to do whatever I could do to make sure Jerry was busy on one of my projects, because this is what would happen. As soon as Jerry works for Judah or Harry's construction company, I'm not going to get your ass back, because he's going to do everything that he needs to do, or Judah's going to do everything Judah needs to do to make sure you stay on the project and make sure you get and that's the problem. There is not enough qualified. The lumber thing is cyclical. The problem is there's not enough qualified labor, skilled labor, right? Everybody wants to do this. I mean, but we deal with this in the resale side. We got a project we're closing on in Lake Monticello. Great little house, great little everything. We're representing the buyer. There's some plumbing problems in the home inspection. Nothing big, kind of simple to do it. But the seller and the seller's agent can't find a qualified plumber. I got a phone call on the way up. Says, I can't find anybody. I said, I got it. Hung up the phone, called. Now, I'm too close to New York City, so I'm going to talk like this. I got a guy. Right? I got a guy.
And did you make it happen?
I made it happen. I got a guy. And I called my guy up and I said, I need you there and get this thing done. Right? Send the bill to me. We'll take care of it. We'll make sure you get paid at closing. But I need it done. Oh, by the way, by Friday.
This is your Lake Monticello listing?
No, this is something else. We're representing a buyer on that, and the seller's agent has not been able to find somebody to fix the home inspection items, and we're close to closing, and I got a panic phone call, and I said, I got it, and we fixed it.
That's awesome.
So, but that is the problem from a big perspective. Now I'm building houses, and we got 100 of subcontractors, right, that we've got to deal with, and it's just, you'd never, ever, 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 ever want to overpromise and underperform. You will go out of business in a heartbeat. And as a marketing and sales guy, you know that better than anybody.
Johnny said, are you saying our next location should be in Connecticut?
Johnny, I got a place scoped out, brother. We're good to go.
I honestly believe you. I think he does have a place scoped out throughout Marriott.
I really do. Really.
Barbara says, Barbara Lundgren, our family takes a moment prior to blessing our Thanksgiving meal for each of us to share what we are thankful for. Our Thanksgiving was this past Sunday, and many of our family said they were thankful for family and in good health.
Yeah, so that is super cool, Barbara. Thank you for sharing. We're actually going to do that. We are doing some hybrid of this. Our Thanksgiving is just Yonna and I, Yasmina, our daughter, Harry, who the bearded guy.
I love that guy.
Behind. Oh yeah, he's fun. Yeah. And he's busy crunching numbers behind me. Otherwise, he'd be sitting next to me. He's got some deadlines to meet. But what we're doing is, because of you, I'm thankful for you, and I'm thankful for what we've been doing for 2 years. I've kind of got a little bit of a skills. I've learned a little bit about this. So I've got this camera that I'm looking at. I brought my tripod, and we're going to sit here, and I have set up a Zoom call with every one of my extended family.
That's awesome.
On that. We got a big old 48-inch television on the stand. We're going to put it up, and we're going to have a mutual blessing at a certain time on Thanksgiving. We got people out in Seattle, as you know, and I got people in New Mexico, Florida, all over the country. We're all going to get together at that time, and we're going to do exactly what Barbara suggested. We're going to pray, and then after that, we're all going to go around and find out what we're thankful for, and then we're going to go. So in a way, we're going to have our family Thanksgiving that we would normally have, which would be 30 people, and we're going to do it remotely. So I'll report in Are we doing a show on Friday?
I was going to ask you that.
Oh, okay, we'll talk offline.
Okay.
I might be a little comatose from tack.
I was going to say, you might have a turkey hangover over there.
Or right behind me is a bunch of bottles of gin, so I might have a different kind of hangover.
Does Harry drink gin too?
No, but he loves me so much. I showed up for a fresh bottle and he found the Riggleman's gin down here, the Strange Monkey.
Really?
That's a classy dude.
In Connecticut?
I don't know how he did it. Knowing him, he probably bought it when he was down there and brought it up.
Oh man, what a gentleman!
Uh-oh. Here comes as I refer to him, the tornado. So we might all see.
Oh, put him on the show. I would love to see him. Put him on the show. Come on.
I will. I think they're.
This is his grandson. First grandson for Keith and Yonna. I would love to see him. Get him on your lap. Get him on your lap, Grandpa. Hey, Yonna.
She's outside through the plate glass window.
Yonna, it looks like it's freezing out there. Is it freezing?
It's freaking Connecticut. Yes, it's cold. So, hold on 1 minute. Let me go get him. Hang on 1 minute. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Fill up some airtime.
I can fill. Don't worry. So Keith is about to welcome his grandson Harry onto Real Talk. And one of the things we love about the I Love CVille Network, my son has come on the show before, and now his grandson is on the show. They call him the Tornado. I'm excited. Does he not want to come on? Harry doesn't want to come on?
So you have a young, how old is your Trey?
He's 3 in March.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can see it, but he's in the middle of a meltdown.
Oh, yeah, I've been there. I know. We had a meltdown this morning, my friend. It's
did you? Yeah.
We actually call him Trey-nado when he's having the meltdown.
That's literally what we call him, Little Harry the
Hey, what's up,
tornado.
Yonna? How are you, friend?
Hi there.
Nice to see you, Yonna.
Happy Thanksgiving. How are you?
I'm doing
Is it cold
extremely well. Make sure she can hear, Keith.
I got it on.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yonna, you look fantastic. Is it frigid there? It looks frigid, huh? Yeah?
It is. Definitely not Virginia warmth. It's Connecticut briskness.
Yeah.
Briskness. But it's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Hope you're having a good show. I was only hearing a little bit of it. But
Did we do good?
yeah.
We are
Okay.
doing good. How about Yonna? What are you thankful for?
Being here. Being here in Connecticut. You know, having a chance to be with my family and my husband.
Did Keith just ask you to say my husband?
I said, what about me? Just second string. That's all, man.
What
Just
are
second
you
string.
thankful for, Jerry?
I'm thankful for family. I mean, I think like your husband eloquently said, COVID's brought us all closer together. We've had more family dinners than ever before. I'm not grinding till 8 p.m. in the office. I'm coming home a little earlier, then working after dinner. I'm thankful for family. That's what I'm most thankful for.
Absolutely. And you brought out a good point. If you imagine this to happen during the Spanish flu,
1918.
we would not have been able to communicate at all. Can you imagine?
Right.
I mean, this is just technology is amazing. It's a curse, but at the same time, it's a blessing.
Right.
You know?
Well, you're saying it's a
But
curse
people
because
weren't so spread apart.
you're in Connecticut and we're working, but at the same time, you're in Connecticut and we're working. It's a positive too, right?
Exactly. Well, listen, I'll let you go. I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and I'm thankful for my husband. Oh my God.
I like him too.
I'm thankful for you, Jerry, and I'm thankful for Judah. Thank you for everything.
Oh, and Liza. Don't forget Liza the dog.
Absolutely.
Right
See you
back
later,
at you,
guys.
Yonna. You have a good one. Keith Smith, you got you did well with that one right there.
Say that again,
You
buddy.
did well with Yonna right there.
Oh, yeah, totally.
That's the best deal of your lifetime right there. The man scored.
Oh, man. I tell you what, 35 years and wouldn't trade a second of it. That's what I'm thankful for. But, I could not imagine waking up and not having that next to me. Couldn't understand it. Wouldn't in a million years understand it. And that is probably my biggest fear in life, is not having that. Oh, there you are. You want to say hi?
That was
Come here.
beautiful. That's lovely
Hey, Harry,
right there.
Harry.
Oh, there's Harry.
Harry.
What's
I'm
Harry
trying to
doing?
get Harry up there, but I don't know if Harry's going to come on. Harry, come here, buddy.
I don't think Harry's
No.
coming. I don't think Harry's
Harry's got
coming.
nothing to do with it. Yeah.
Well,
Harry's like, yeah. Come on, Harry, want to say hi? Nope.
that's
Totally out on
okay.
it.
That's okay. Bye, Harry. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Fantastic program.
Do you get the same? Do you get the same cold shoulder every once in a while?
Oh, all the time. I got it this morning when I left. Mimi and Pee-Pee, Grandma and Grandpa are at our house as well.
Oh, really? Good for you.
And with Mimi and Pee-Pee, he calls them Mimi and Pee-Pee. And with Mimi and Pee-Pee in the house, Daddy doesn't get any love.
Got it. Well, ditto here, by the way.
Yeah.
So these are your wife's parents, right?
Yeah,
They're down from Long Island. Good for you.
they are.
Good for them. They were coming one way. We're going the other way.
Yeah,
Good
so
for
you might have passed each other on 95. I'm also thankful for getting to know you. I'm thankful for this fantastic show that we're doing. Looking forward to seeing you next week. I think, why don't we do this before we get off?
Was that a hey Smith? Are you gonna stop traveling and come back? Is that what that was?
I enjoy seeing you in person for the show. All right, so why don't we do this? And I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag here, but Tuesday's a pretty big announcement show.
It is, and I'm not gonna let it out either. So we everybody needs to stay tuned for Tuesday. There's a big announcement coming out on Tuesday, but today I just really wanted to be super thankful for everything we have. Thank you for what we're doing here. Thank you for everybody, and it's a crazy time right now. We all agree, right? This whole COVID thing has really got everybody spinning. But you know what? Maybe if you can, you don't have to have a fancy camera. If you got an iPhone that works just as well, Zoom is free. You can do a free Zoom account up to 100 people. If when you're sitting down with your 2 or 3 or 4 person Thanksgiving, FaceTime or Zoom with everybody, and just take a minute. We're having a meltdown. So they heard your voice, Jerry. That's the problem.
Harry, you have a good one, Harry. Harry, you be good. Keith, I hope the Thanksgiving goes well.
Yep.
Enjoy the Zoom and the blessing with the family.
Maybe you can do that with your parents.
Oh, we're gonna do something like that.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
We're gonna do something.
All righty. Well, I think we're coming up on 11:15,
And you're getting nap time requests back there.
That is purely a nap time request on that end of it. So I asked for an hour. Technically, I got it because we did our call at 10 a.m. and so we had between 10 and 11. But I think we're gonna we're getting what is the thing with the hook?
Yeah, you're getting the hook. You're getting the hook right now. You have a good Thanksgiving. Say hi to everybody. I'll text you. We'll reach out about Friday and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great Thanksgiving.
You too, Keith Smith. Have a good one.
Okay.
I've been there. I've been there myself at nap time, and that reaction is the reaction Trey Nato, our son, does as well. Keith Smith, Yonna Smith, great people. The Yes Team Realtors, trusted advisors in the game. Tuesday's a big announcement show that you're not going to want to miss. It's going to be pretty special on Tuesday, a week from today. My name is Jerry Miller. This is Real Talk, a holiday edition of Real Talk. Thanksgiving around the corner. Thank you kindly for joining us. The I Love CVille show is in an hour and 15 minutes. Guys, be thankful, be grateful. It's a great day to be alive, right? We'll catch you soon on the I Love CVille show. Take care. That's what Trey does too, Judah.